Hey guys, Dave with First Place Auto Parts. Thanks for joining me in the shop today. Today we're going to be talking about motor mounts and what your options are when it comes time to replacing yours. Now motor mounts have a pretty simple job, and that is to hold your engine up in their saddles up off of the frame. That's where the simplicity ends. The factory motor mounts are a rubber encased in steel clamshell type of a motor mount. They do a wonderful job of isolating vibration and also holding the engine in a pretty steady state. But as you start to add horsepower or you start to drive your car more aggressively, those motor mounts can oftentimes have a lot of give and then fail unexpectedly. So we're going to talk about your options in regards to as you start to increase the performance levels of your car or the demands of your vehicle changes, maybe it's time to start thinking about some different kind of motor mounts. Now essentially there are three types of motor mounts you can use with a vehicle, and the first one we're going to talk about is the original equipment version, which is the steel shell with a rubber insert. And these do a wonderful job, and if you're just daily driving your car, they isolate a lot of that vibration that you would feel if you didn't have these, or if the motor was directly mounted to the frame. So these things are great at what they do, but they do have a lifespan. Look, these things are mounted under the engine block right next to the exhaust manifolds. They're subject to a lot of heat and also a lot of pressure. So these things do wear out over time. So it's something that even if you're going to keep your car a daily driver, motor mounts are something that you need to pay attention to, because what you will start to feel if you don't is vibration, and also some things may change in regards to the relationship of the engine to the frame. So your first option is just replacing your motor mounts with the original rubber encased in steel motor mounts, which do a great job for just an everyday daily driver. The next type of motor mount that we're going to talk about is one that's made with polyurethane instead of rubber in it. These are more of a performance application, and they don't have nearly as much give as the rubber does, which means that the engine is more solidly held in place, and polyurethane is a little bit more durable than any kind of a rubber component. Now the one thing that you're going to get with polyurethane is you're going to get some more vibration that you're going to feel through the chassis of the car because it transmits more chassis, right? Polyurethane is a denser, harder material, and therefore it's not quite a solid, but it's not a rubber. It's somewhere in between. It's a great upgrade to a rubber motor mount. If you've added horsepower, or if you're doing a lot of aggressive driving, especially if you're doing things like burnouts and things of that nature at the drag strip, a polyurethane motor mount is going to be better capable to not only hold the engine in place where it needs to and to take that shock loading, but it's going to be more durable to boot. And the third type of motor mount is a solid motor mount. Now these motor mounts mount directly to the frame and to the block. There is no rubber, there is no polyurethane. It is literally a metal saddle. What this does is hold the engine firmly in place, but it also transmits every conceivable vibration from the engine to the chassis. Not really recommended for the street, but a solid motor mount or a motor plate, which is what a lot of people use when they have a full-on drag car, is the option for the ultimate in high performance, in that it never changes and it never wears out. Now, you can do a combination of a polyurethane and a solid motor mount. The engine has a tendency, if you're sitting in your car, to rotate from the driver's side up, right? So a lot of people will put a solid motor mount on the driver's side and a polyurethane motor mount on the passenger side, so they kind of get the best of both worlds. They get that solid location of the engine in itself, but they also get the vibration dampening of a polyurethane mount. Not quite as good as rubber, but way better than steel. Like many things that have to do with a vehicle and the combination that makes up a car, motor mounts are part of an option that you have when it comes time to either modifying or tuning the chassis of your vehicle. Depending on the usage, decide what motor mount's best for your car and your application. If you found this video helpful or informational, please consider subscribing to the First Place Auto Parts YouTube channel. We will continually be adding new product review videos, how to install videos, and going to some pretty cool car guy events I'm sure you're going to want to see. Until next time, keep the hammer down, keep it between the guardrails.